presiding officer, and because all of us on the board see so much excitement, it's almost like we started first grade. So we're glad you're here. A couple most important comments. Big coffee pot has decaf. A little coffee pot is water for tea. I knew that was very important. At this time, I'd like to introduce Anna Marie Wilson Charter from the class of 59, who will give us the invocation.
Please bow your head. Heavenly Father, we ask you to be with all of the alumni gathered here this evening as they reflect on those memories from our school years. Be with those alumni who could not be here tonight and those classmates that are now in your arms. Bless this food and the happiness of the evening and protect our classmates as they journey home. Keep safe our American soldiers all over the world as they protect us and give us the freedom to have this reunion. With you, nothing is impossible. Amen.
You may begin meeting. First on the agenda, the approval of the secretary minutes. You received those in your mailing. Are there any corrections or on the minutes? If you didn't bring them with you, that's your problem. Seeing no objections, the minutes will show that they were approved unanimously. Approval of the treasurer's report from Grace was sent to you also. I'll be talking to you about that 3 lines down. If there are not any corrections to it, let it be so noted that that has been approved also. This time, I'd like to have Shirley Scott Sill from the class of 59, who is acting as our secretary since Gladys is still partying in Florida. And I just heard from Lee Seipel, her son-in-law, that she is having a wild time and doesn't want to come back and see the snow. So I don't know. We may lose her, unfortunately, and she, I don't know, getting her suntan down there or something. Say her Shirley.
We have some thank you cards from last year. Read it to you, then you'll understand it. Thank you for the Carnation centerpiece from the Alumni Banquet honoring Tootsie's class. Violet brought the flowers to me in Greenville the following day, and they lasted a long time. It was so thoughtful of all of you. Lena Briesig. So last year, thank you for class. Tootsie Briesig, I don't know what your name is, was in the class. And then, okay. Okay, and the centerpiece then got to mother, and she sent a thank you card. Also, we have a thank you card from, it says, Dear Gladys and the Alumni Committee, thank you very much for having the class of 1954 at the Alumni Banquet as honored guests. I enjoyed reading all the interesting facts about our class from the first day of school, September 7th, 1942, to our senior year on the back of the program. I appreciate all the hard work it takes to make this such a special event. Sincerely, Rosemary Zakas, Coker.
Thank you, Shirley. Next on the business, it is my sad news to announce to you that Grace McMullen, after we still don't know the exact count, has requested that she step down as treasurer at the close of this banquet. She's been very active in this group, as many of you know, and I would just like to take this opportunity to thank her in the short time that I have really gotten to know her. A grand lady, and has done an outstanding job, so I'd just like to say thank you, Grace, for all the years. And I've gotten to know her enough, and knew Ruth Miller enough from the Methodist Church all those years, and knew, of course, Jeannie, who encouraged me to go into education. All I can say is, from knowing Ruth a little bit more and now just finding out a little bit about Jeannie, I would have loved to have been their teacher or principal, because I have a sneaking suspicion these Waldorf girls were quite a handful. They give you that angel appearance, but from what I've seen, I would have loved to have been there at that time. So at this time, I have to open up the floor, sadly, for nominations for the position of treasurer of your Vienna Alumni Association. If you stand and give a nomination or a second, we ask that you tell us who you are and the class that you are from. So, are there any nominations? Okay. Okay, we have one name on the ballot, Sharina Scott Kennedy, who is presently one of your board members. Are there any other nominations? Danny?
I make the motion the nominations be closed.
Danny used to do that to me at Howard Schools for all those years also. Okay. Danny has made a motion. But first, before you do that, Danny, we've had a nomination. Is there a second to the nomination?
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Mazzico seconds the nomination. Now, Danny's nomination then is on the floor for closing, and we've had a second. Since we only have one person, I suggest the minutes read a unanimous decision without any voting. But at the same time, I'm not going to throw this grand old lady out on the street, because as president, since Jarena has left the board, I have now just appointed Grace McMullen to the board of directors of the association. Congratulations. Okay, last on the general business, the pay-as-you-go donations. I just got here of late working with the group. It all started with Jarena one night calling me late at home 3 or 4 years ago and said, "We'd like to have you be on the board." I said, "Fine." Next night she calls and said, "Guess what? You're now vice president." So it just keeps going on. But what is happening, we have found, and if you notice, there are no centerpieces on the various tables or little doodads. In the past, to save money, to keep us going as long as we can, they've had a rule that only if you've been here the last 3 years do you get an invite. This year I suggested to the board at the last meeting, go down this list that we have, and if you know of people, let's try and send, so we're spending more of this money. To try and put it in perspective, if we had 125 and paid the $11 by the time we paid for the meal, the perpetuity, we have about $225 left. The custodian and the renting of the ramps last year was $214, so we're wiped out. The 50-50 last year gave us $152 or something. The tables and chairs are $174. We're already in the hole. We haven't paid for the postage. We haven't paid for the invitations. We haven't paid for the program. This is my donation to you this year because I've paid for it myself because there's not enough money. So we're asking, it's your organization, not Bob Griblin's organization, it's the Vienna Alumni Association. Do you want it to continue? We only have $400 in the treasury. We're going to use over $100 of that to meet our indebtedness at the close of this session. Now it leaves $300. So we may make it through that 56, 57, 58, and it ticks me off because I'm in a class of 59. That's why we got 7 people here from the class of 59 tonight that are going to protest. So what we're saying is, if you have any suggestions, now I hear you used to square dance, you used to have bake sales, but half of us can't even make it to the kitchen, so how in the world are we going to bake? I'm not going to. I've had back surgery. I'm not going to hold these dumb tables, so that's why we haul the tables and chairs in. And I don't think, we used to do it when we were younger. We used to do a lot of things when we were young that you can't do. Now you just dream about it. Okay, so it's up to you. You've heard enough from me. And I had to keep talking until they got the candles lit. That was what it said. So what we have is maybe enough for 2 years, 3 years, and then we're defunct. We raised the price of $1 and people complained. So we didn't know what to do. So it's your organization. You got to tell us either by, if you haven't put in donations, we would encourage, we have received some from the initial mailing. Don Scott and sent $50. And not that he's rich or anything, but he feels he'd like to keep it going. And I have had a blast emailing back and forth with Don. And of course, when I started getting these emails, I'm going, I used to ride the bus with him. Was he the one who used to knock the books out of my hand? No, that was Mr. Harvey that used to ride the bus. I think he lived right across from the dead people's place down here. And then Dallas, his dad was a preacher. I didn't have to worry about him. Because all of us, Ann and sure, we were in 8th grade, so we were looking, But they've turned out pretty nice. So, it's your organization. When you came in tonight, laughing and joking and everything, that was my treat. That's what made me want to do it, continue it for another year, and I'd like to keep the organization going. I think we're up about 10, 12, 13 people over last year. It's my understanding the most they've ever had is 140. We came pretty close to 130 this year. I'm going for broke for next year to try and get over 140. Because Grace was concerned about where we're going to put the people. I said, I'm not going to worry about that. I see a little bit more room over here. If we get 140, we'll get a few more. We can set some more up here. Grace won't have to be sitting here next year because she's not the treasurer. So, we need your help. If you want us to go and continue on, these people, more than I, have been putting money in themselves to keep this going, and they've been afraid to tell you. I was in school administration and teaching for 34 years. I'm not afraid to tell you. So we need your help. If you haven't donated, you'd like to help us, if we get 100, 150, then we know the class of 59 may make it. So keep that in mind. Now for a more serious, at this time, I'd like to reintroduce Anna Marie Wilson-Shargo and Shirley Scott Selb in our memoriam to those members that have passed away that we know of. If we only know by people contacting us and what we can find in the paper. So if you know of someone, let us know. We can at least catch up with that person then next year.
Alice Jeannie Waldorf Alt, 1936. Edith Governor Mack, 1938. Robert L. Beets, 1940. Charles Consider, 1941. William O. Durick, 1946.
Edward A. Cleese, 1946. William H. Beechler, 1951. Thomas L. Williams, 1952. Larry D. Henderson, 1955. And Lynn Hawley, 1961. At this time, would everybody please bow their head and have a moment of silence? Thank you.
At this time, we will start the roll call of the classes. We don't ask that you have to say your name. I guess the rules are they just want a head count. If you can't get your head high enough, raise your hand and wave so we can get a count of those. Class of 1917. Don't see it. Class of 1919. As I skip classes, these have already been classified as everyone is deceased in those classes if I don't read it here. 1922. 1925. 1927. 1930. 1931. 1932. 1933. 1934.
There we go.
1935. 1936. 1937. 3. Gotta get this right or the class will really give it to you. 1938. 1939. 1940. 1941. 1942. 1943. This young lady was my first grade teacher. 1944, 1945, 1946, 1947, 1948, 1949, 1950, 1951, 6 like 6. Great. 1952. 1953. 1954. 1955. 1956. 8. Okay.
57.
My first grade teacher didn't teach me how to count.
I wanted to skip it.
1957. 1958. 1959. There's 7 of them. I told you we were going to protest. 1960. Remember the haunted house at the Methodist Church? 1961. Hey. Yes. 1962. 1963. 64. 1965. There we go. 1966. 67. 68. 69. 70. It's either bingo or is there anyone else here?
Bingo! 72.
What year?
1972.
1972. Great. Spread the word, young lady. We're a nice group. I don't know, when Mathews went together, I always heard the story that it was a coal miner that got the farmer's daughter pregnant up there, and that's why he had all this trouble. I don't know. So, spread the word, young lady. We'd like to have those. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have them. Okay, announcements, quickly. Hold it. What else did I miss? 1976. Yes. Any other years? Because I don't have those listed, Gladys. Any student from consolidated class? Okay.
Me too.
Just quickly on announcements, because I want to get to Dawn. My apologies to Jim Lazzico and Betty Grove. Jim said he was going to meet me out after the party. He was going to beat me up because I missed his name. Betty Grove said she was going to throw eggs at my house or something. If I missed anyone this year, I apologize. With Gladys being gone, she was the keeper of the records. We had a disc. I had to get hold of one of my former students to try and open the disc because my computer wouldn't do it. We got it, but then we found out there's little markings that you're supposed to follow, but they only show up on the screen. They won't print out. So we were using the last couple of years' roster. Then I met with our board and officers and said, hey, go through this list. Let's invite some more. So we tried. So if I missed any, I apologize. You know, Luxcon's here. If you know of anyone, if you know, come and tell any of us or tell me, I'll write the name down so we make sure we send them a card next year. If you know of someone, address change or whatnot, I've got all the printout from all the lists that we have, because I got about 6 or 7 returned address no good, so I've crossed those addresses off on various people that came back to me. So if you know of any, let us know. A lot of people admired the pictures and then from the various classes. Just to let you an update, it's been talking with Joanne Stringer. They were pitching all that stuff years ago. I don't know when the consolidation started or what, but she told me it was Paul File that made contact with various people, and they came up here to try to get it. I was talking to our custodian tonight. You know, is there still stuff underneath the stage? I'd like to find out. Most of the trophies are gone. We only could find the 3 here concerning the basketball team. And we had to break into the trophy case to get those tonight because they don't even have a key. So Mr. DeMarco was very nice. We got into them. And, but the custodian says there are trophies here stored, and there's a lot of boxes underneath the stage. They don't put chairs underneath there anymore. So I'm going to keep on their tail and get hold of Mr. DeMarco and send him a letter from our group here that, hey, if you get into those boxes and you find stuff, get hold of me so that I can come up and see if we've got trophies or some more of these pictures and try and round up as much as we can. Also, with our 50-50, thanks to Marianne Schrader-Raptis. Tonight also, after we do the 50-50, we're going to keep, she brought in 6 big things of coffee, and so we're going to keep pulling numbers. So if you don't like the 50-50 and want to try on the coffee, you know, John will gladly take your money and Mr. Floyd will gladly take your money. John's going to retire from the money circuit next year because he's class of 1956 and he's going to party. So Mr. and Mrs. Floyd have pretty much volunteered to take care of that because John's going to party next year with Joanne. Connie, once again, thank you for the flowers. I knew she would do an excellent job this year because it's her class we're honoring. But she always does an excellent job. Okay, John, it's all yours at this point. Anyone else? We'll give about 2 or 3 minutes here, and they're going to, if you want to still toss in some money, we'll give you one last chance. Right now, John says we have $365 for the 50-50. Here's someone that wants some tickets. 50-50, we have $410. So the winner will get $205. If you lost your tickets, that's your problem. 205.
Oh, the last one.
Anna Marie's making the final count. She works at the Trumbull County Auditor's Office.
Pretty active. That's why I'm
Okay, we're ready to pull the number. Still 205, according to the Trumbull County Auditors. Of course, they only work partial days now. That's why she had so much time to help out Bill. 134. 979. 134. 979. 979. The Trumbull County Auditors.
Oh, yeah.
1959 will have their reunion. All right, we're going to pull 6 more numbers for the first can of coffee here. Read it.
Okay, number 134381. 134381.
How about a red one?
134983. 134983.
Class of 59 now has coffee.
lot of eights here. 388 8866. 388 8866.
So you're right, John. You got to pull red.
One, three, four, 271. 134 271.
Class of 59 has
I would suggest the class talking.
Three eight eight 8773. 388 8773.
How can that be? Uh-oh, better check them.
Check it again.
What color?
Check it again.
That was an orange one.
It's a red one.
What is it, John? 388
Her red one's the same color, she said. Is that possible?
388 8773.
Look at the red one.
The last three numbers 773. Okay, last one. All right, 134956. 134956.
class of 59. Mrs. Rapkus, thank you very much. At this time, it's my pleasure to reintroduce to you Don Scott.
Thank you, Bob. Doesn't seem that long ago, but I remember my father's 50th reunion, how excited he was. Ralph Scott, he was one of the early classes in the consolidation of the original building out here. At the time, he only had 11 grades. So he, with the encouragement of his grandmother, I think she enticed him with an old watch and the promise of an automobile. Dad, I don't think really needed that enticement anyway, but he went to Holland the 12th year. So he was a graduate of Holland High School. He loved Vienna. Mathews building is named after Ira Mathews. And Dad would tell me how Ira Mathews would put him, Dad, on Ira's back and parade him around. I think this back when we had school down in the old Grange building. So these are long, long time memories. But speaking of memories, Dave, when we left in '55, the class at like 8th grade or 9th grade, you got a point. Wasn't there a skinny, sort of shy kid, blob, dribbling? Whatever happened? Young, shy, quiet Bob. Yeah. Well, he's become very verbose, very wordy. These are his emails he's been sending me. So it's not just verbally, but here it is. But I've got to share this one with you. Statement in one. After making your few appropriate remarks, please make them short. The program's too long, too many will be falling asleep or leaving. Okay, boss. I appreciate that. So instead of me making my few remarks, what I'm going to do first is to introduce my classmates, and they're going to introduce their significant others. That's a new word. And if they would like to talk about who they are, where they live, what they've been doing, all in a space of a few minutes. So that after you get done, if we need to lengthen, I will talk longer. If we need to shorten, I will cut back my remarks. Okay? And I think we're going to call upon my first cousin, Paul Billy. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there was 3 of us in that class. Anyway, there was 3 of us in that class, 3 cousins, first cousins actually, and several others I think in there too, that were cousins, seconds, whatever. Anyway, Frank, Don, and I, it was a good class. We still enjoy each other. A lot of memories here, a lot of changes.
Use the mic.
Sorry about that. Not used to these things. Anyway, a lot of memories here and a lot of changes too. Like I said, I drove in and I really recognized the front of the building, but got around back and I said, wow, what a difference. Anyway, it's good to be here and see all the folks and appreciate all the effort that put into this thing and the folks that put it together here. I know a lot of effort here. And, Mom and the rest of the crew here, I appreciate it. Thank you. Dom, I'm through. Somebody hit the hook and I guess it's...
Well, you went to the Navy, right?
How much more elaborate?
You lived in several places. You have a bed and breakfast now.
Yeah, and I'm living out of a post office.
Why don't you give a plug for your bed and breakfast?
Well, it's really not open yet, but a little town in Port Washington. It's down south of New Philadelphia, about 20 miles. It's an old Victorian house that we're putting back together here. No, wife and I, a lot of work, but it's coming along real nice. And we hope to get the thing going here probably about October or thereabouts. And it's built in 1873. That's pretty old. Good old house, a lot of good things here. Nice little town. It's similar to Vienna here. It's one red light. There's 2 bars and a gas station. Anyway, yeah, I spent 4 years in the Navy. Lost contact with a lot of people. We lived in Newark, Ohio. I don't really know where that's at. So whatever. Raised 4 children there. And, they're all married, of course, now. Have children of their own. There's 10 grandchildren. 2 boys, 2 girls, and 8 boys, I guess. Is that right? I haven't got my calculator. Anyway, we lived there for over 20 years. It was a good place. Racing games. We enjoyed the grandkids. Anyway, that's about it for me, Don. Thanks, man.
Oh, in addition to be my first cousin, has a association here behind, which Rose is the creator of. And of all of our classmates, this is probably one that's really true. Paul has always been a good friend as well as a cousin. Dallas?
Not accustomed as I am to public speaking.
We know attorneys are 30, and I've just been told we're running out of tape on the camera. Don't talk to him.
All right. Go ahead.
When he waves at
I think, or 2087 or whatever. But this is a fine class. I've enjoyed my vicarious association with them. As far as I'm concerned, this is my class.
And that is the reason we have no philosophy or description for Dallas. That's true. Dallas is the fellow that's keeping our class reunions going every year, for those that said he's not officially a member of our class. We do meet every 5 years. And we always meet the last weekend of July. And we're going to be meeting again that time. So when we stood up, we had 37 people in that class, and we just have a relatively small token representative group of that larger class. And they are focusing on the July one. Not to take away from all your efforts, but Dallas is the person who planned all that. Okay, let's see. Diane?
Years ago, you couldn't have paid me to do this. I was the one that was sat under the chair most of the time and hid in the back corner. But you know, when I grew up, found out that you people aren't your dad and that's not yours. We're your teachers, you know, the ones that were in authority. And I'm Diane Kelly. I was married for 33 years. My husband passed away 11.5 years ago. I have 3 wonderful boys. From Elmira, New York. Well, actually, right now, in Portsmouth, New York. Probably don't know where that is, do you? My sister also was here tonight. She's from Portsmouth. We're now neighbors, and we take care of each other. You know what? I've been practicing this for a year. My sister said, haven't I? She came home from the alumni banquet last year and said, oh, you're the class honored next year. And everybody has to get up and say something. So I've been thinking about this for a year. I finally decided that whatever came out of my mouth is what you were going to hear. I wasn't going to write anything. But I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm happy to be a part of this class. I was a transplant. I came when I was in 9th grade. I was an outsider. And although most all of you were very gracious to me, I was not happy to be here. And it wasn't your fault. It was because I had lost my stepfather. Just a few months before that, my mother was legally blind, but she needed someone to take care of her girls. And so therefore we ended up here, after having a happy place. But you know what, it's growing on me. I have not missed a reunion every 5 years. I'm on the committee this year. And I have been so excited about this. I don't know if I can shut up. I've been so excited about seeing all of you again, because now we're grown up and friends. And that's kind of awesome.
Dave Harvey here. Everybody knows me, right? I haven't changed one bit, have I? We moved out here in 1947 from the west side of Warren. And boy, let me tell you, we had to fight our way to go back and forth to school there. And when we came out here, it was a little bit different. You had to catch the neighbor, you had to run him a lot before you caught him. See, there's more space out here. But we enjoyed to stay out here for many, many years. We just sold our house a couple of years ago. We moved out to Canfield. Ran into a condominium out there. Very nice place. Very quiet. Somebody else mows the grass, shovels the snow, washes the windows. So, we just sit back. But we're also very busy. We have grandkids and they're into baseball. They run me from one field to the other. So we're keeping up with them. As long as I can keep up with those grandkids, I know I'm still alive. So we thank the Lord for everything. I appreciate what all of us done here. Thank you folks very much for sending me the paperwork and keeping in contact with us. But That's where we're at today. He got shortened up just somebody else.
Barb Davis Kennedy.
I'm Barbara, and this is my husband, Wesley. We were married on May 30th, 1959. We have 3 children. We have 5 grandchildren. We have moved 8 different times. We are now living in Medina, Ohio. We've been here 15 years, and that's the longest we've lived any place. And so now we consider Medina our hometown. I volunteer at the Medina General Hospital. I've been doing that for 9 years, and I've got close to 2,000 hours. I also line dance with 2 different groups, one in Brunswick, Ohio, and the other in Stonesville, Ohio. I also belong to the Banquet Society, and with the activities I do with the 5 grandchildren, we go to almost all of their activities and their sports, and that keeps us busy.
Barb, is there anything you want to tell Rose about your quotation that she put beside your name 50 years ago? I know that. Rose.
Came to Vienna when I was a junior in high school, so I only spent 2 years here, but it's a wonderful time. I guess mostly because we had such a great basketball team. But after I got out of high school, I went to college in Cleveland, and then I went to college in Camden for a year, and I joined the Marine Corps, and I went to Marquette University, and then I worked after that for 27 years for the state of California. I have 4 children. One of them's here. This is Marcy, my oldest daughter, and 7 grandchildren. And right now what I'm doing is taking care of Marcy's little 5-year-old. So, that's about it.
Thank you.
George Thomas.
Well, not much for speeches, but this is my wife Marilyn. We have 2 kids. One lives in Florida, my daughter. My son lives right next door to us, so we can babysit every day. And watch him get on the school to come to Mathews, which we're fortunate for that. And I retired from General Motors, and I fish. We go polka dancing every Sunday, and that's it.
Long-time teammate of mine, Mike Mazzico.
Mike Mazzico, my wife is Mary Ann. I have 4 daughters, 9 grandchildren. I live in Vienna and never left. Just around the corner from where I was raised at. And I still play in the dirt every day.
I still live in Vienna. I'm an original. I live in the home where I went to school from. Have 6 children, 7 grandchildren. I worked at Hillside Hospital 15 years, midnight turn, and I'm a caregiver, and I do flower arranging on the side. That's about it.
Margaret Lavin Remus.
I live in Austintown. I'm married to John Remus. We have 3 children. We have 6 grandchildren. I worked for 45 years with Retail Clerks Union. I'm retired. And my husband passed away 5 years ago. I'm doing fine. I go to the spa, I golf, and garden, and that's about it.
Lieutenant Ray Larson.
I'm married to my husband Bob. We've been married for 45 years. We live in Cortland. I just retired last year from the Lakeview school system. And we have our first grandchild after all these years. We have a beautiful 9-month-old baby girl. And also, I was in the first class and went all through 12 years with my classmates.
Mary Forney Rappage.
My husband Frank, we not left Vienna, around the corner from where I was born. We have 8 children. We have 8 grandchildren. And we are sort of busy right now because the grandchildren are small. The oldest one is 10, and the youngest is 5. So the ones that are around us, they keep us all busy. So we're busy doing back into Little League and things like that. And we enjoy them.
Dallas, would you take it upon yourself to introduce our special guests? And these are very special. Thank you.
We invited 2 of our former teachers to come and participate in this. And everybody remembers, I was thinking about 1952. We had this new typing teacher. She was Miss Fakeless. She scared the living bejeebers out of us. Most of us still have scars. We learned how to type, which we're very thankful. She married John Joanno. She's now Eva Joanno. She taught my children, our children in Howland, and they have the same types of scars. They also learned how to type. Eva, could you say something in 25 words or less?
Well, I don't know where to begin. First of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me as a special guest. That the committee has done a beautiful job, and I knew it was going to be a special night. That's why I dressed up so nicely. And lo and behold, when I came in, I see this garish-looking shirt on an individual that was wearing shorts, and I was wondering what the story is behind all that. Would you explain it to us? I'm still interested.
Not trying to knock anything. Like I say, I only got 3 or 4 years since Scott killed me. But I made comments about too much for the food, too much food. Didn't like the way the servers were dressed.
I see.
So I'm waiting for a comment.
Well, you have proved your point, Bob, because I think next year, I think we should all dress casually. Why dress up? But again, I appreciate you inviting me here. The memories are long and nice memories. As Dallas says, I came here in 1952, and I left in 1962, regretfully, because I thought those 10 years were the most wonderful years I've ever spent on a job. The families in Vienna, I got to know them so well. The children, we were one big happy family. I noticed in Vienna, the school was the center of everything. Your activities, your social life, everything revolved around the school, and that's what I enjoyed, being with the families and the children. When my daughter came along, as a baby, I would bring her to all functions in the evening. In fact, a lot of you babysat for me. You did. I see one of them, Shirley, back there. I didn't even get a chance to say hello to you yet. And I didn't get a chance to say hello to a lot of you. Ernest back there, remember, I had you in 8th grade. So it brings back a lot of memories. And what you people have done tonight, and stories I have heard, and the wonderful and normal lives that you have led, makes me feel good
Diane Kellogg Kimmy put it so well, times do change. And all of a sudden, our teachers aren't quite so old as they once were. We're catching up to them. We had a math teacher also, a very serious man. He also taught my children, our children, again in Howland High School. We called him different names in those days, but he's been a friend of mine for many years. We go to the same church. He's a very able thinker, a very cooperative worker, an able worker, Roy McFadden.
Thank you for those kind words I don't deserve. I'm reminded of a neighbor of ours who went to his 50th graduation. And I thought, when he came back, he told me about the teachers who were there. Gee, they had to be pretty old. Jack had a cat. His name was Slugger. Now, Jack found a bride. He was a widower, and he married one of his classmates. The cat was sitting someplace where the new bride didn't like. And she talked to Jack about that. And Jack said, listen, he was here before you were. I always thought there were two things about the cat, especially about him, his teachers being so very old. Thank you very much for inviting Eleanor and me to this very nice affair. We appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Did you tell anybody about when we took our senior class trip to New York City by train, that the Joannas were our chaperones? That was a wild trip. I cannot imagine anything like that being done this time and age. Because when we got to New York, you guys shouldn't tell us, but I think it's safe now. You basically said, here's New York City. Go. There were no curfews, we got out the street, subways, Coney Island, lots of other hijinks, I think, right, David? We were fortunate to survive. But they had the courage to go with us. That was terrific. I guess now my few appropriate... I know. I think there's a picture in the yearbook of you sleeping. A few remarks about the class of 1955. There were 33 of us that started in first grade. I think we had 3 different teachers first grade. And we moved right on to Mrs. Shanks. Left, and then Shanks. I know this so well. On the bulletin board over there, I have the class pictures with the correct teachers' names and so forth. And I don't have the complete roster of the students, so if any of you remember the names, would you take my pencil, get a post them and put it up there, fill in the empty blanks for me? I'd appreciate that. But anyway, there were 33 that started, 14 of us made it all the way through, and we ended up with 37 students. In 1955, 37 students was the largest class, graduating class, Vienna High School ever had. We were doggone proud of that. And correct me if I'm wrong here too, but wasn't Teresa Conrad Cherry one student that went through all 12 grades without missing one day? Well, then it's true. It's true. 37 students. We had wall-to-wall seats. Everyone was filled. That was not good. We were a class that was average, ordinary, but unique. Varied talents, variety of personalities. We had scholars, and we had people who weren't scholars. We had artists. We didn't have an art program. we had athletes, superb athletes. Doc McShane, when he came from Youngstown, Ohio, joined us in 5th or 6th grade or something like that. I vividly remember him being assigned to a seat right in front of me, outside row. I think it was like 5th grade. And he and I stopped sports from that time on. His dad had been a super collegiate athlete in Youngstown. Doc's older brother had been an all-city football player. In fact, Doc's father was nicknamed Scoop. But he never attended any more basketball games. Doc was a great athlete. Then when the Leaches came into town, oh my, Gary and Rex. We had the nucleus of a fantastic team. But anyway, we had that. We didn't have art. We didn't have a library, but somebody was trying to tell me, don't you remember the library? The only library I remember was in the hall closet. And the bookmobile would come. And with 37 kids in the class, I can only remember 2 of my essays, written papers, being turned in, critiqued, and returned. 2. I could be mistaken there. So we didn't have a lot of things. We didn't have Title IX. We had a girls softball team. We had a golf team. We had a baseball team. And as I remember as a junior, the class ahead of us were very good. And we sort of filled in. Our senior year, our baseball team was not that good. We had basketball. And we had a very supportive community. People in this community, as far as I know, my father was the clerk of the school board for a long time, and I would overhear things. But as far as I know, I don't think the people in Vienna ever voted down an operating or a capital improvement tax fund. Could be mistaken on that one too. That was phenomenal. They didn't make much money, but they were voluntarily taxing themselves for the school. And as Eva Joanna said, this was the social center. I don't know if it still is or not, but it really was in our time. I think with the email that Bob sent me, the one I really got the biggest charge of was we couldn't find all the trophies, and I told him, I had a whole list of the trophies starting in 7th grade. 7th grade basketball championship, 8th grade, sophomore, we lost out. We runner-up TIA, the Trumbull Interscholastic Athletic Association, qualified to go to Youngstown for districts, and we nearly won that championship. Next year, the junior year, phenomenal. Senior year, phenomenal. We had a pile of trophies. And on the back table, you see 2 basketballs and 1 trophy left. I have no idea where the other ones are, and we worked so hard for those. Right, Mike? Yeah. Let the trophies go. But the email that I really got a charge out of, and he said, I'm trying to find the trophies, found some trophies, can't find the key. Principal DeMarco said, break the glass. I thought that was great. Jimmy, if you pick up one of those balls, don't drop it. It doesn't dribble anymore. It's like concrete. But anyway, I think the thing which really gave us the essence of what we needed when we were here. I think the community, the school, and the parents and so forth, they said, all right, we don't have everything. Let's take what you have and develop it. And that's what a good parent does. That's what a good teacher does. That's what the individual does. We develop what we have and go with it. And we had basketball. The other skills you pick up on the way, I learned how to write. I learned how to use a card catalog when I went to Westminster College. They taught me. It was a rough first semester, but I realized I could think, I could reason, I knew I had some skills, people skills, determination, all that other stuff. And I got that from the school, with the teachers, the staff, parents, community. It was nice going. Here's a picture that says a lot too. It's the dedication. Male, female hands, top of a table, and the top of the table between their hands is the Holy Bible. There you have basically the three basic institutions: family, church, religion, and school. And out of these, you get a good value system. And we were in good shape to go out and compete. We've had a phenomenal success. I am proud of my classmates and their accomplishments. Paul is very modest. David's very modest. Callis is not modest. But Diane and all the rest of us, many successes in their own ways. And that's very good. Now, I would like to comment on some of the people who are not here. Rex Leach, for example, he wanted me to tell you that Carol and he are in Iowa right now. We'll be there for about 2 weeks watching one of their grandchildren at a tennis tournament. He said, Don, the Vienna Alumni Association dinner and my grandchild's tennis tournament, what did he say? No choice. I'm going. So that's where he is. He thanks the committee, thanks the Vienna Alumni Association for doing that, for having him. It's not a snub. Doc McShane is in California. I've not been able to reach him yet. Anybody knows whereabouts, I'd certainly appreciate a lead as to how to contact him. A number of the other people who are not here send their regrets. And I personally believe that I'd like to thank the Alumni Association. What you're trying to do, or what you are doing and have been doing, is to preserve a little slice of Vienna history. And being a long-time history teacher, 33-year history teacher in Warren, Pennsylvania, I'm a firm believer that history has a vital role in education. We don't know where we come. We have to know where we're going, figure out. I think I messed that all up. To know where we are now, we have to know our past. And our present is going to help basically determine our future. And history is what this is all about. There is a continuity, and you're playing a large part in that. On the back table, when I wake up early in the morning, I assume some of you do, you're about of that age. Make it to the bathroom, you come back, crawl in bed or out of bed. At least that's what I do. I either watch television at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or I read, or I write. And I've been doing all three of those from time to time. One of the things I did do in writing was to write a story called Glory Days. It's in a booklet back there on the table with the basketballs. It's about our days of playing basketball here. It was a fun thing to write. I talked with a lot of people and putting together, and I wrote it basically for my grandchildren. Welcome to take a look at it. It's right there. And that's just about all that I have to say here about. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask myself or any of my classmates? I talked with Edgar Mealy on the way in. There's probably another thank you I should give to Edgar and all those other Vienna fans who came to every basketball game we played, or went to Cincinnati to see us in that game. Support here was phenomenal. The Vienna Sports Boosters that gave us a dinner in our junior year, the Vienna Kiwanis that gave us a dinner in our senior year. Various members of the community that invited us in, whole basketball team for dinners, into this for seasons. This place was wonderfully supportive. Yes.
Frank Catchpole?
How much Frank Catchpole? Frank, he's in Florida. His wife Helen and he relocated from Sandusky, Ohio area 2 years ago, went to Florida, Key West area, had a house built to accommodate him and his needs. Frank is in difficult times right now. Talked with him about 2 weeks ago. There's a disease called inclusive body mycotosis. It's under the umbrella of muscular dystrophy. The prognosis is not rosy. He told me that he falls down a lot. He can't use a cane anymore. He doesn't have the upper body strength to remedy teetering. No pain. This disease attacks the membrane, which makes the muscles atrophy. And losing bulk, losing strength. Their son lives in that area, comes each day, spends some time with Frank. Frank told me he truly relishes that time with their son. He is getting good care. His wife Helen is very attentive. Audrey, who lives in Vienna, and Audrey's granddaughter just recently went to Florida, spent a week with Frank and Helen. Have not talked with Audrey since she returned. He's a success story. He was a CEO of a very important steel company up in Sandusky area. Yes?
Benina Graff?
Bunny.
Money.
We've emailed back and forth. Bunny ended up in Hawaii for a long number of time. Phys ed teacher that went into high school guidance. And relocated with her husband to Cody, Wyoming. And I get the strong impression from her emails that she's planning to come to our July get-together. I think she's still doing some substituting, either in guidance or something with the school system. She said life is sweet, life is good. And I guess if you're living either in Hawaii or the base of the Teton Mountains, not bad. Anybody else? Jerry Tidd will be coming in July. He's in Aurora, Colorado. He's doing well. Well, I would like to thank again Old Vienna and New Vienna, and thank you very much for your efforts and all tonight.
Thank you, Don, and thanks to those members of the class of 1955 to help make our evening great. As I was remembering who was pushing me out of what bus seat and whatnot out of this group, I remember Rose in particular used to make so much noise in her house when her dad was superintendent down at the Avalon Golf Course. She used to chase her brother Ed and Leonard and I out of the house constantly. She was always reading those dumb books all the time, sitting in her bed. I remember that. Mary going up to her mom and dad's house, trudging up Old 82 to get the eggs. And of course, Connie Rose reacquainted with us when my wife became paralyzed in '77 in Hillside. And she did a lot for her. Roy McFadden, just told him tonight, his math is great, what he taught me. I'm making smart criminals down at Trumbull County Jail. They got me out of retirement doing a GED. I'm teaching them the Roy McFadden math system so they can get into your house quicker. And just like every one of you, I still got the scars. But I think I remember Miss Joanna the most because when I started teaching down to Allen, and one of the first teachers' meetings, you know, at the start of the year, and everyone's dressed up going in, I hear this, Bobby Rabbi. And I turn around and there's Mrs. Joanna. So once again, I hope you had some fun. I hope we brought back some memories. Hope you had a good time. And I want to turn it over to my president in training, Ann, for the final word.
Thank you, Bob. I would like to thank all of you for coming tonight, the honor class especially, and Bob, for the great job that you and the other board members, I'm a latecomer to this, so I give all credit to them. They did a fabulous job, and I'd like to thank them also. I hope to see all of you next year, and until then, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Have a safe trip home and good night.
Wait a minute. What do you want me to say, Gerald? Where you at, Gerald? Ted?
Give him hell.
Give him hell?
Yeah, he should be here, shouldn't he?
No, he'll be here in July.
He eats cake. Is he a cake eater? A cake?
Yeah.
He'll be here, huh?
Right.
You gonna be there? What you guys have tonight?
I probably won't.
Okay. All right.
Take care.
I'm Jerry's cousin, Ted.
Here's my pictures.
Thank you. I'll get these back to you.
Yeah, okay.
You have them identified?
What do you mean?
I mean, on the back side is the who's what or whatever.
You said you was...
I thought they were gonna, you said they were gonna put it up on the screen.
I am.
I got them good. I got them good. Come on, which one am I? I don't.
I want to know who had the fastest car in high school.
Frank.
What do you have?
Chevy, yeah.
Studebaker.
No, Chevy.
53 Chevy.